Hi, my name is Aya. You're watching Aya Reads, and I'm here to do another reaction video of a book haul I did years ago. This time, I'm gonna be reacting to a video I did, or a book haul I did on September 20th, 2018. So it is 5 years ago when I did this book haul. It is called Massive Collective Book Haul. So I already have a feeling I'm not gonna have read most of them. So I did this video once before and I reacted to my first ever book haul, which was 9 years ago. I'll leave that linked for you. We've established that I hadn't read most of those books. So like I said, I'm very apprehensive about this book haul. But since then, I don't know if that vlog's already up, but I have already read 4 of the books that were featured in that book haul that I hadn't read yet. So that is very good. And I am planning on doing a TBR jar in 2024, where one of the challenges will be reading a book from a previous book haul. So I think I'm gonna keep doing these reaction videos because I really enjoy them and you guys really seem to enjoy them as well. So anyway, let's just watch this book haul of shame. I'm gonna show you all the books I've acquired for these past 8 months. I do have to say most of these books for the past 8 months, let's see, and I was in a book slump. So are books I got before I got my reading slump and books I got recently, and the rest of the books are all book subscription books, which I will tell you from which box it was when I get to a particular book. Let's get started. So the first book is My Plain Jane. So this is a companion novel. I have pen and paper here. I've not read this one yet. And this is a companion to My Lady Jane, which I've also not read. I've heard amazing things about My Lady Jane. I haven't yet read it, but since I've heard such amazing things, I know that I for sure will read it soon, and I wanted to have this book in my possession before that. Although I do have to say, I haven't read Jane Eyre, and I know this is like a retelling, a loose retelling of Jane Eyre. So definitely let me know if I'm still convinced that I really want to read Jane Eyre before reading My Plain Jane. And Jane Eyre has been on my TBR for so long and I still have not read it yet. So I don't think I'm gonna read My Plain Jane anytime soon because I'm still convinced that I really want to read or Jane Eyre before reading My Plain Jane. Sight Witch by Susan Dennard. This is a novella set in the Truth Witch universe. I've not read this one yet because I, for some reason, stopped at Wind Witch and never really continued on. So this book is actually on my series I need to finish list. So I will get to it once I read the series again. So there's that. Next is The Reaper at the Gates by Saba Tahir. This is the 3rd book in the An Ember in the Ashes series by her. I've read An Ember in the Ashes. I still haven't read the 2nd book and now the 3rd book has come out. Do I actually still own this one? Reaper at the Gate. No. So, okay, I don't own this edition anymore, so I'm just gonna put it at unhauled. Because I bought the Fairy Loot special editions of this series. So I have not read Reaper at the Gate. I only read the 1st book in the series. So it is once again on my series I need to finish, but since I don't own this particular edition anymore, I'm just gonna count it as unhauled. Yeah, just to make it a little bit easier on myself. So I should really get on with this series. Next, I got 2 copies of The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. So this one I got in one of the Fairy Loot boxes, and before I got this one, I'd already purchased this one. I've heard great things about it before it came out, but now the reviews are kind of mixed. Yep, I've not read this one either. So I'm kind of regretting getting both of these, although I didn't really have a choice with this one. I do prefer this cover though, I do have to say. I don't know, definitely let me know what your thoughts are on The Hazelwood. I know this is like some sort of fairy tale-esque book. It deals with fairy tales. I'm just really hoping I'll love it, otherwise I'll have 2 copies that I don't know what I would do. Although this book is way too beautiful to actually like give away or sell. But anyway, next is They Both Die in the End by Adam Silvera. So this is another one of those. I've not read this one either. Oh my god. I've not read any of the books I talked about. 5 books mentioned and not one of them I've read. I heard it's really sad, so yeah, definitely excited to read this. Last Star Burning by Caitlin Sangster. This one I got in my Page Habit box for October. I have no idea what this is about. Okay, so Page Habit was actually an American subscription service, and I'm kind of sad that they don't exist anymore, even though purchasing this one was very expensive because shipping from the US to the Netherlands is astronomical. I liked their subscription service because the author actually annotated the books. But yeah, I've not read this one. And I don't think I would have bought this if it wasn't in that subscription. What I really love about Page Habit boxes is that the author annotates the pages. Next is Final Girls by Riley Sager. So this book I heard amazing things about. I read this one right around the time it came out. Although I do have to say, I think there were also some mixed reviews. I do absolutely love this cover. I think this is the UK cover. I prefer it over the US cover. It has black pages and it's just like such a good cover. It's a thriller novel, of course. This is about the time that I really love to read thrillers, so maybe I'll get to this soon. Hopefully I'll get to this soon. Next is Grace and Fury. So this was the Fairy Loot June book. I don't know if I've ever read a Fairy Loot book. Maybe one. I've not read Grace and Fury. Yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts on this book. Heart of Thorns, which is the July Fairy Loot book. So I heard a little bit about this book. It's about this. Have not read this one. It actually sounds like something I could really, really enjoy. Catwoman by Sarah J. Maas. So this was in the Illuma Crate August box. And I do really, really, really love this cover, although it doesn't match my other. This is the only Sarah J. Maas book I've not read. Well, actually, that's a lie. I told a lie there. I've not read the second Crescent City book. Anyway, for a long time, this was the only Sarah J. Maas book I've not read. I've always been meaning to read this one. I just never did. I'm most interested in this one, but I don't know. We'll see. Onyx and Ivory, which is the Fairy Loot May book. This actually sounds really interesting. So I really hope that this book is... A part of me is very happy that I don't get Fairy Loot anymore because even though the covers are very, very beautiful, they're usually not books that I would have picked up on my own. So I have not read this one either. It's about this girl whose father was a trader and they both used to work for the king and she had a crush on the crown prince. But then she finds out she has powers and then she eventually meets the crown prince again. It sounds really interesting. And yeah, very much looking forward to this one. I actually heard great things about this book in particular though. So it is pretty high up on my own books that have been recommended a lot list that I also did a video on, so I'll leave that linked for you. I think I'm gonna read this really soon. Next is Outwalkers, which was in the Book Box Club's February box. Yep, not read this one either, and this 100% I would have never bought on my own. The next two books were in the Illuma Crate February box, and it's these two books. The first one is Blood and Sand by C.V. Wick, and the other one is An Arc of Smoke Thieves by Sally Green. Okay, so Blood and Sand I actually read and DNF'd, and Smoke Thieves I've not read. This book has already come out and I haven't read it, so definitely let me know if you've read it and what your thoughts were. This is set in Rome. The cover's really ugly, but definitely let me know. I don't really like the cover at all, but the book sounds interesting. It has been a while since I read anything set in like Rome or something that is based on Rome. The Afterlife of Holly Chase. So this finally. I actually got before December and my plan was to read it in December, but then of course my reading slump hit. I read this book like maybe last year or the year before. Frost Like Night by Sarah Roche. So I read the first book. I don't think I read the second book in this trilogy, but I know I love these covers and I did really like the first book. So I was like, I still don't have the third book. I should really just... Yeah, so I bought this for a matching set. I have not continued on with the series, but it is on my series to finish list. So either I'm gonna finish the series within the next 2 years or I'm gonna unhaul this entire series. Every country has like a different season. So if you live in one country, it's always winter, it never changes. And then if you live in another country, it's always spring, it never changes. So that's a very interesting world to me. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. So this was in the Fairy Loot January. I read this one. Finally, I've really gotten into fairies and I've heard such great things about this book. I know Holly Black has written a lot of fairy books, but from what I remember, this one has gotten the most hype so far, so very interested to read this one. Next, I got 2 versions of The Language of Thorns. If you are asking yourself, I read this one. I am planning on rereading the Grisha trilogy before The King of Scars comes out, so maybe I'll read these stories while I'm reading the Grisha trilogy. Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shannon Maguire. Yes, my 5th book that I have read. Good for me. Really love it, okay? And I should really read this. And I've heard great things about this book as well. Everless, which is the December Fairy Loot book. I believe this one was in the Fairy Loot a month before it actually was released. So I had it a month before everybody else did. I mean, us Fairy Loot subscribers had it a month before everyone else did. And I still haven't read it. And 5 years later, I still have not read it. I have so many books I still need to read. Like, as you can see in my haul, a bunch of books that I've been looking forward to for a while now, and I still haven't read them. So yeah, but I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good problem to have, honestly. Like, I have so many good books to look forward to. So yeah. Batman by Marie Lu. Like I said, with the Catwoman book. I've not read this. I've not read any of these books. Like I said in this haul, I don't know if I cut it out or not. I started Wonder Woman and I got about halfway through and then DNF'd. But it's like, it was a soft DNF. I planned on continuing on with it, but 5 years later, I still haven't. Sight by Neil Shusterman. So this one I read literally in the middle of my book slump. And so I was reading, I never finished the book. So I technically DNF'd it, but I really want to continue on. But I'll just put it at DNF just to make myself feel better. Like I said, I read it and I was in my slump. So I never really finished it. So I didn't finish this one. I got to page 179. What I read, I did like, I didn't finish. I am planning on finishing it. I do really want to read the second book as well. So the next two are actually books like that I would have read immediately if it wasn't for my reading slump. The first one is Restore Me. Of course, I'd been looking forward to this for so long. My plan was to reread the Shatter Me trilogy and then read this one. I am still planning on doing that. But like I said, with Restore Me, I just accepted the fact that I was never going to read this one because to me, I feel like the Shatter Me series should have been just 3 books, and I haven't really heard the best things about the rest of the series, but I still own it, and I think my plan is I really want to reread the Shatter Me, like the original Shatter Me trilogy one day, and then maybe once I do that, I'll continue on, or it's just like a pretty cover that's just going to sit pretty on my shelves forever without having read it. So the other one is A Court of Frost and Starlight. So this is the novella set after A Court of Wings and Ruin. Of course, I read this one. Next is one of the only books I did actually read, and I actually finished it yesterday, and I'm planning on filming a review for it. Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. So Mary E. Pearson has I love this book. Become one of my favorite authors. This book was amazing. And this is set in the Remnant Chronicles. It's set 6 years after the events of the last book in the Remnant Chronicles, and we follow Causey and Jace. And they have different loyalties. I'm actually planning on rereading this book this year. Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. So this book has been out for a while, and I was never really interested in buying it. But then this got picked for my book club. But then I never read it. I didn't go to the book club either. So I still have this. I've heard... Yeah, once again, like I already explained, I would never have bought it if not for this book club. And then I never read it. The Sun and Her Flower by Rupi Kaur. I haven't read this. So this is the next book that she has released. I read the first one, although I don't remember what it's called. I did like it. It was very like dark. I think this is going to be the same, although it doesn't necessarily have to be. Yeah, with Girl in Pieces and The Sun and Her Flowers, I don't know for sure if I still own them. I'll check later. A Close and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. So this is a sequel to The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. A lot of people have been raving about this series. I haven't read it yet. I don't know why I bought the second book if I hadn't read the first book. I think my reasoning was, yeah, I've not read The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, so I don't know why I bought the sequel. Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foody. So I bought this back when the hype was real about this book. A lot of people were reading it. A lot of people were loving it, so I bought it. I haven't read it. It sounds like something I'm really gonna enjoy. It's set in a circus, I believe. I've not read this one yet. I forgot I even owned this one. Next 2 books were in the book box club December box, and it's The Bear and the Nightingale and The Girl in the Tower. So these books I haven't read yet, but so I read The Bear and the Nightingale, and I have not read The Girl in the Tower yet. I wasn't a big fan of The Bear and the Nightingale as much as a lot of other people seem to, but I still own the second book, and it is still on my list of series I really want to finish. Hopefully I can read these in November or December. That would be great. Next is Fandom by Anna Day, and this was in the January book box club. Maybe I even unhauled it, but I'll check after the reaction. If I have not unhauled it, I really should. Lost Boy by Christine Henry. This book I read until page 108, and so yeah, I DNF'd this book. I don't know if I still own it. Okay, so my battery died, so I just took a break and now I'm back. So if I look a little bit more disheveled, I'm sorry about that. Let's continue. The Murders of Molly Southbourne. So this was also in the Page Habit box. I haven't read this one yet, but I really wanted to read it this month actually, or next month. So it's only a novella, so I do think I'll fly through it. I was thinking about this book recently, so that's funny. Out of the two books, like we had obviously the full-length novel and this one, I was more excited about this one, so I should really read this soon, as I keep saying. The next two books are The Lies of Locke Lamora and Red Seas Under Red Skies. So this is obviously a series, the first book and the second book. Yeah, I've not read this one yet. I was so mesmerized by these beautiful covers and these beautiful editions that I bought every book this publishing company had out in this edition. And yeah, I've not read The Lies of Locke Lamora. I've been meaning to read these books for a while now. I've heard amazing things, but I didn't love the original covers. I thought they were ugly. But then they came out with these editions. I don't know, like it's like from a certain publisher who does similar books. One I'm going to show you next. So hopefully I'll love that, because obviously these were more expensive than the original cover since those were paperbacks. But yeah, this is about pirates, and like I said, I've heard amazing things about this series, so looking forward to them. So another book in this edition is The Name of the Wind, so very similar. This book I already own in paperback, but I love this cover more, and it's so special to me. Yeah, I've not read this one yet, mainly because he has not finished this trilogy and probably will never finish this trilogy. So I keep putting it off, even though a lot of people do say that The Name of the Wind is one of their favorite fantasy novels. I don't like that he's never completed them. And I really like these three books lined up together, and I kind of want to buy every book in this edition. I haven't read this book yet. I already have two editions, and I'm really debating getting the 10th anniversary edition because that is gorgeous. And I kind of want to read that edition because it also has illustrations, which will only add to the story. Although then I will have 3 editions for a book I haven't read yet. And I do really want to read this book because I've heard amazing things about it. But the first book already has a 10th anniversary edition, yet the third book has not come out yet, and there's not even a release date for it. So I'm really debating, because I know in my heart I will love it because so many people with similar taste as me have loved it. But I don't want to wait forever for the third book. So anyway, I don't know. Maybe I should just shut up, read it, and then if I love it, buy the 10th anniversary edition. This book. These 2 books were in the Illumicrate May box. So the first one is 1,000 Perfect Notes. Not read this one. I have no idea what this is about, but I believe it's contemporary. I don't know. And this one is an arc actually that comes out on October 9th. Never read this one. So my plan is to read it before then and have a review up for you before then. This is set in space. It's the same author who wrote The 100. I haven't read The 100. I have watched a couple of episodes of the TV show. So yeah, like I said, this is not going to take me a while. I will read this before October 9th and we'll have a review up. I'm pretty sure I DNF'd Light Years. Or I unhauled Light Years before then as well. So definitely check back on my channel around that time to know my thoughts about this book. Last but not least is a Fairy Loot book for, have not read this, March, which is State of Sorrow. This apparently has only been released in hardback for Fairy Loot, and I love the cover and it feels really nice. I have no idea what this is about. Melinda Salisbury wrote the Sin Eater's Daughter trilogy. I believe I own the first book. Yep, another one like... Once again, Septa Unella needs to just follow me around and just shame me, because I'm not even going to tell you how many unread books I have on my shelves, because that is just embarrassing. But out of this book haul, I have 27 books that I have not read yet and not even attempted to read. 8 books that I have read, 2 books that I have unhauled without having read them, and then 3 books that I have DNF'd. So let me grab them and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I grabbed all 27 books I have not read yet, and I'm just gonna show you them in 3 piles. This is the first hardcover pile. God. Okay. This is just one of 3, guys. One of 3. The second hardcover pile. And the paperback pile. So I did actually find the fandom, which I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna DNF it. I'll just put it in like the TBR jar and we'll see. Let me actually look at these. Okay, so let's just grab the ones that I can read right away without any problem. Or you know what, let me just grab the ones where I'll have difficulty because they're either sequels or stuff like that. Those are not a lot, honestly. Yeah, just 5 out of the 27 I cannot read right away for several reasons. Restore Me, I already told you in my reaction. I'm not really planning on reading this unless I feel a very big urge to do so once I reread the original trilogy. The Girl in the Tower, I really want to reread the first one before I do that, and since it's such a dense book, it's gonna take me a while. Frost Like Night, I need to reread the first one, read the second one, and then I can get on to this one. My Plain Jane, first of all, I really want to read My Lady Jane first, even though I don't think that both are connected. Plus, I really want to read Jane Eyre before reading this one. And then Side Witch, I really need to reread the first 2 books before reading this one. So that leaves me with 22 books that I could have read, yet I decided not to. So like I said, these are just I'm not gonna do a vlog reading these unless you really want me to. You can pick any of these books and I might vlog them. But the main reason why I did this video is because I wanna have a pile of books that I can grab when the challenge to read books from an old TBR pops up in my TBR jar that I'm gonna do in the beginning of 2024. Plus, I think it's always fun to react to a book haul and see how many books I've not read yet. But yeah, definitely let me know in the comments below which one of these I should definitely prioritize. And I always ask this, but if you have like a TBR veteran that you're ashamed of that you've not read yet, I would really love to know that. All of these have been on my shelves for 5 years and I've not read them. And then I also have like 3 DNFs, where at least 2 of them, I still have an interest in reading them. So yay for that. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll talk to you later. Bye.